Before we start today's story, please let us know your location in the comment section and don't forget to like and subscribe. I can't control how I feel. I snapped, practically fuming with frustration. Steam might as well have been coming out of my ears. Brenda just smirked, nonchalantly wiping down glasses before moving on to clean the bar top, leaning into every bit of her stereotypical bartender role. We were sitting in Brenda's bar, the Gym, a cozy corner joint named after her late husband. It had been his running joke that patrons could always say they were either at the gym or heading to the gym. Brenda and Jim had poured their hearts into keeping the place afloat, but the grueling hours eventually took a toll, driving him into an early grave. After his death, Brenda used the life insurance payout to pay off most of the loan and had since channeled her grief into keeping the bar alive as a tribute to him. "All right, Megan," Brenda said, refilling my wine glass. "Let me make sure I've got this straight. You're not mad that Alex cheated on you. You're mad about who he cheated with?" I took a slow sip before answering. "Can you blame me, Brenda? Have you seen her?" Her? The lady in question was named Linda, an overweight, chain-smoking, loudmouth, bottle redhead. Linda worked as that middle-level manager in some useless redundant government agency, whose job was creating paperwork for another useless redundant government agency. Brenda put some more glasses into the sink. "You do realize, Megan, that this encounter between Linda and Alex was long before you and Alex ever met?" I looked around the bar. It was pretty empty, save some guys playing pool in the back room. "Who cares, Brenda? I mean, seriously, look at me." I got off the bar stool and did a twirl, showing of my 4 times a week yoga class body before sitting down. "And compare this body to that, I mean her," I said, making a face as a mental image of Linda crossed my mind. "It is just not normal." Brenda threw a towel over her shoulder. "Normal is a setting on the dryer. So, your hubby Alex traded up by marrying you. I do not understand why that bothers you. What if it wasn't him that traded up?" I found out Linda and Alex were together for over a year. What if Linda broke up with Alex? That means I would be settling for a Linda reject. That makes me want to hurl. "Megan, again, who cares? One person's trash is another person's treasure. Linda's loss is your gain. Yada, yada, yada." "Easy for you to say, Brenda. You do not have to have sex with a man who stuck his pickle into Linda's pickle barrel for over a year." Brenda leaned on the bar with a grin on her face. "Maybe Linda had a few bedroom tricks that kept Alex coming back. Maybe you girls should get together and swap recipes?" I almost gagged on my drink. "I will have you know that no one who was in my kitchen ever went away anything but fully satisfied, and certainly were always hungry for more." Brenda just raised her eyebrows. I looked around before answering. "I may not be some Vestal virgin, but I am not some dirty gutter sludge either." Brenda laughed and clapped me on the shoulder. "Sex is only dirty if done right." I knew my face was bright red as I shook off Brenda. "Please, this is serious. I am not happy about this." Brenda shook her head. "Sex, the thing that takes the least amount of time and causes the most amount of trouble." I ignored her remark as I ran a finger around the rim of my glass. It just seems so hard to see the future with Alex, when his past with that skank Linda is in his history. Brenda shook her head at me. "Megan, you ever hear the expression? The past is behind, learn from it. The future is ahead, prepare for it. The present is here, live it." She then got a somber look on her face. "We have known each other since grade school, been through a lot. But remember what my grandmother used to tell us. Happiness is simple. Someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to." Now, I smiled at the memory of that old lady. "Yeah, but wasn't she also the one who said marriage is between a man and a woman who is not too picky?" We both laughed a little when I felt a presence to my left. Suddenly Alex plopped down on the bar stool next to me. He had a bag from the hardware store in his left hand. "Hi, beautiful," Alex said, giving me a kiss. Brenda made a face. "I thought you were talking to me." Alex grinned and easily pulled himself up and over the bar, doing a modified full gainer, landing behind Brenda. He immediately began smothering her neck with sloppy kisses. "Show off," I said, sipping my drink with a smile, while silently admiring my husband's acrobatics. Brenda pretended to fight off his advances. "What do you expect from an old Olympic gymnast?" Alex grabbed the bar rail and vaulted back across the bar into the seat next to me. "Ah, you ladies are too kind. But we all know I had to drop out before the end of Olympic team tryouts, and that was a long, long time ago." "You did not have to drop out," Brenda finished. "You chose to drop out to help your parents." Tomato. Alex said. "Same thing. I was never on the Olympic team." He then lifted my wine glass. "The house white?" Brenda pulled the bottle from under the bar, showing the label to Alex before refilling my glass. "Wine is like duct tape for women. It fixes everything. Alex grinned as he put his arm around me. Ugh, I exclaimed, pushing him away. You smell like sawdust. Go clean up before you get me all woody. Alex rolled off the bar stool, but not before giving me a tickle. Speaking of woody, don't forget tonight's date night. What are you guys doing? Brenda asked. I rolled my eyes. Watching a DVD. Alex held up his finger. Not just any DVD, tonight is classic movie night, with the director's cut of The Wizard of Oz, the ultimate chick action flick, where two women fight to the death over a pair of shoes. I shoved him toward the men's room. Now please go wash off some of that timber before woodland creatures come in looking for a place to nest. There was only the clicking sound of the pool balls in the background as I saw Brenda linger on Alex's sleek figure while he walked to the other side of the building. As Alex moved out of sight, Brenda snapped her towel at me. Goddamn it, Megan. You should be sending Linda thank you letters every Christmas for cutting Alex loose, instead of worrying about some ancient history those two had before you were even on the scene. He is not perfect, you know. I countered defensively. I can't count how many times Alex leaves the toilet seat up, and besides being Linda's cast off, the man has a cat as a pet. What kind of man has a cat as a pet? Brenda gave me an odd look. What is wrong with a pet? I wish I was half the person my dog thinks I am. I ignored her. And who names their cat Brian? Come on. Brenda was astounded. You don't like Brian the cat? I love that big black cat. He is biggest damn cat I ever saw, like a mini panther. Yet that crazy cat Brian has the personality of a dog. Wonderful, I spat. Alex and Brian have been together forever. Maybe Brian the cat can teach Alex to get a real job. Alex hasn't had a steady job in the 5 years we have been married. He has never put his business degree to work. Brenda gave me a strange look. You were kidding, right? People from other countries send their wooden antiques to Alex for restoration. Ah, sure, but it is embarrassing at our office parties when Alex says he whittles wood. I hate the impression that he is like some hillbilly lumberjack. He could be on the fast track and halfway to upper management by now if he wanted. But no, Alex wants to stay home and play in the garage. Megan, I have seen Alex's garage. It is workshop better equipped than most woodworking TV shows. It's my garage. I snapped. Part of Grandpa's house he left me when my parents died. Didn't Alex completely redo all the wood floors in the house? Yeah, but... Plus all the moldings and entrances. Yes, but... And the front porch, steps and trim? Sure, but... Not to mention the fireplace, Brenda said, as she reached down under the bar and pulled out a magazine, plopping a glossy full double-page spread in front of me. Megan, isn't that you on the curved staircase that Alex rebuilt from scratch in National Home magazine? Okay, Brenda, but I was the one who had to put up with all the dust. Oh boo-hoo, and now your home is in the county historic registry. Before Alex, you were getting letters from city code enforcement. Well, if Alex had taken any of the offers he had out of school, we could have been making big money and paid someone to do that kind of work. You don't know what it is like to have only one steady income, just mine. It is not a situation that leaves me too happy. Brenda rolled her eyes. I think Groucho Marx once said, "What good is happiness? It can't buy money." I took another drink of my wine. Seriously, Brenda, having Alex being Linda's reject along with his limited earning is not exactly the key to my happiness. What, Megan? You think if you Alex made enough money and you were not happy you could have the key to happiness made? Brenda shook her head. Seriously, Megan? My God. Did your mother have any children that lived? Do you know how antique restoration and cash work? You have any payments on that new Lexus you bought up last year? Well, no, I stuttered. Alex paid for the whole car after I picked it out. Brenda put away the magazine. Having a lot of money does not mean you are special. Most of the time it means you were lucky. Swirling the wine around my glass, I couldn't help saying, easy for you to say. The last time I saw Alex in a suit was at Mom's funeral. Damn guy lives in faded denim jeans. Brenda stretched as she put some glasses on the top shelf. Men in denim built this country. It's the a-holes in suits who are destroying it. Just then Alex sat down next to me. So what are my two stunning gals chatting about? Brenda turned toward Alex. Tell me, boyfriend, how much do your little lumber shop make last year? A look of surprise crossed Alex's face. You mean reported income? He laughed. A gentleman never talks money or about his ladies. Brenda turned toward me, but addressed Alex. We were just talking about your wife's new Lexus. How about you? Did you trade in that old pickup truck yet? Alex gave Brenda a look. Why? It may be 15 years old, but except for a bit of rust, she runs great. I tried to change the subject. Speaking of ladies you were with, Linda is now head of the Neighborhood Homeowners Association. That's nice, Alex said absent-mindedly while picking up a bar food menu. Brenda, is the fryer up? Just then one of the guys playing pool motioned an empty beer bottle and held up 5 fingers. Brenda broke away to fill the order, leaving Alex and me alone. Alex, did you hear what I said? Alex turned a page of the bar menu. Sure, Megan. You said Linda is head of the Homeowners Association now. Should not bother us. The house is in great shape. Don't you care? Alex put down the menu and looked at me quizzically. What? Do I care if the house is in great shape? No, you fool. I slapped him with the menu about Linda. Now Alex looked really confused. What about Linda? God, you men are so thick. I sighed. You and she. Me and her. What? Alex asked. You guys used to date. I used my fingers to make quote marks around date. Alex shook his head. Yeah, Linda and I dated before I met you. So? And you used to date Mr. All-American high school quarterback before me. That reminds me, can you call him tomorrow and check on our car insurance? I want to increase the coverage on your Lexus. There is a difference, Alex. Mr. All-American high school sells us insurance now, is married with 2.5 kids and a picket fence you helped him put in, I said. Alex got a smile on his face. Oh, I see. You want the 2.5 kids. That's wonderful, Megan. You know I have been bugging you to start a family. Don't worry about your job. I have orders 2 years out. You can always go back to work after. Megan? Megan? Alex was talking to my back as I stomped off my bar stool and out of the bar. Things were cool around the house the next few days. A confused Alex gave me space and stayed in his stupid workshop, working on another one of his stupid projects. Brenda told me I was being a fool, even going so far as to say too many people are looking for the right person, instead of trying to be the right person. But I could not help the way I felt. I mean, honestly, who wants someone else's leftovers? Which is why I was sitting in Linda's house to see if I could get the real story. You sure you don't want a beer, Megan? Linda said as she plopped her pants-suited rear in a Lazaboy chair, with a cigarette in one hand and store-brand beer can in the other. No thanks, Linda. I replied, sitting on the edge of her sofa, trying not to touch anything. Looking around Linda's house, I could not believe she was in charge of anything that required taste. Her decor was done in early 60s trailer park with lion and leopard prints on every wall, rug, and picture. Suit yourself. Linda shrugged while popping open the beer in her hand. A small dog jumped into her lap. She petted the animal, making kissing sounds. I tell you, Megan, if there aren't any dogs in heaven, then when I die, I want to go where they went. Linda continued to talk to the dog before she addressed me. Some people talk to animals, not many listen. That's the problem. I tried not to retch, and her smoke was making my eyes water. Linda, I am surprised you still smoke. You know, working for the government with all its anti-tobacco regulations. Linda blew a puff of smoke into the air. It has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that smoking is the leading cause of statistics. I tried to join her in a small laugh before launching into generic homeowner questions, figuring to work into the real reason for my visit later in the conversation. However, Linda beat me to it. Does Alex still got that big old Brian? I shivered before answering. Yes, Linda. Alex still owns Brian the cat. Linda took a chug of beer. Hell, no one owned that damn cat. Brian came and went as he pleased. She took another swig from the can. Did Alex tell you we used to bump uglies? Way back when that other guy was president? I don't think you were around then. Yes, Alex mentioned you two used to date. Linda slapped her thigh. Date? Hell, we humped like bunnies for over a year. I kinda hated to throw that one back. I tried not to show my surprise. You broke up with Alex? Why? Linda shrugged before taking another drink. He wasn't my type. Sure, he was a real nice guy, kinda good looking, sorta skinny for my tastes, but funny, great in the sack mostly and all. Alex is just not something I wanted to settle for. I tried to keep calm, but inside my mind was seething as I thought, settle for. Not your type. I composed myself before asking in a non-confrontational way, really? Alex do something to make you break up? Linda shrugged again before answering. Nope, nothing like that. I am sure he is fine for someone like you, but Alex just didn't fit the kind of man I was looking for. I let out a nervous laugh, because inside I wanted to explode. While Linda, you must be looking for Superman. Grinning behind her beer, Linda chortled, well, a man of steel is good to have around. If you know what I mean. She crushed the beer can before setting it in the wastebasket near her chair. And as much as I would love for us two hens to keep going on down memory lane about old boyfriends we kicked to the curb, I gotta get dinner ready. Now, Megan, you had some homeowner questions for me? I swallowed my bile and wondered if Linda could see the steam rising from my ears as I pulled a folder from my purse. The meeting with Linda actually made my bad mood worse. Alex grew a brain in his head, finally getting the message I did not wish to talk. He gave me space, immersing himself in his workshop and his volunteer kids' football league coaching gig. Tonight, Alex was on a 2-day trip, which is why I was at the gym, sitting at the bar with Brenda as she cleaned glasses. The bar had a few patrons, normal for weekday evening, although a table filled with suits was making a lot of noise. "Where is your acrobat at?" Brenda asked, pouring me a glass of red wine. I took a sip before answering. Alex took his stupid truck to pick up some stupid wooden piece of crap some stupid guy with more money than brains wants returned to original condition. If these people have so much money, why not buy new stuff? What is the thrill of paying 10 times the price and having some old hand-me-down piece of shit when you can have nice new pieces? Brenda shook her head. You talking about Alex, Allah Linda, or Alex's latest assignment? Both, either, neither, I don't know. It is all so depressing. Brenda threw a towel over her shoulder. You want some cheese to go with that wine? She rolled her eyes. Life is not about where you think you're going. It's about the experiences you get along the way. Alex is an awesome, nice guy, so cut out the white wine. I looked down at my glass. Brenda, I have the house red. Brenda reached across the bar and gave me a fake smack on the cheek. White wine, you fool, not white wine. You know, first world problems. Like not being able to find the remote control to the TV, your Starbucks coffee being too cold, or an email attachment taking too long to download. The kind of shit problems poor people around the world would love to have, as opposed to, say, finding clean water or medicine for their sick kid with the hospital 200 miles away, which they can't pay for anyway. I recoiled back. Just because my problems are not as bad as others does not mean I don't have any problems. Yes, it does, Brenda responded with a hint of anger in her voice. You are a member of the Lucky Sperm Club to be where you are. A good job, fine health, a husband that loves you. Need I go on? I would set fire to everything I own in a heartbeat to have 20 minutes with my late husband. You were born on third base. Stop thinking you hit a triple. I was stunned by Brenda's tirade, but she was on a roll. Look, Megan, you don't get to be the bride at every wedding, corpse at every funeral, and baby at every baptism. Now I was feeling insulted and was about to retort when the front doors of the bar opened and a stream of sweaty guys in baseball uniforms piled into the bar. Brenda's mood perked right up. Gonna be a good night. That is the Gay Men's Softball League. I made a face. You allow those kind of guys in here? She gave me a serious look. Megan, if by those kind of guys you mean men with disposable income, who buy a lot of drinks and spend a lot of money, but never cause any problems, then, yeah, I not only allow those kind of guys, I search out and encourage those kind of guys. This is a bar, you know. I was about to answer when a huge black man strode up the bar. The guy was the biggest human I had ever seen. He must have been over 6'10" and close to 250 pounds. Buttons strained at his barrel chest on a uniform that displayed the name of his team, Master Batters. Brenda must have known this black giant, as she did not object when he reached across the bar and picked her up with no more effort than a child picking up a Barbie doll. Put me down, Tim, Brenda squealed as the Colossus set her down gently. No problem, Brenda, Tim replied in a low baritone voice. Just thought you might want to get together with the Northeast League, South Division, Western Champions most valuable player. Brenda batted her eyelashes coyly. And does your husband know you are hitting on the other team? Tim let out a big laugh. I wasn't always gay. I just got sucked into it. It must have been an old joke, as Brenda just rolled her eyes. Sorry, Tim. You know I do not sleep with any man who is not 9 inches. Tim seemed to consider this for a moment. Hell, Brenda, I am not cutting off 3 inches for anybody. I was shocked by this exchange, but Brenda seemed unfazed. Even when Tim said, enough, wench, give me 6 pitchers of your finest ale on tap and keep them coming for my fellow Batman warriors. He paused. Also, a pitcher of Pepsi. Brenda started setting up pitchers on the bar. Who is the teetotaler, and why is he in my bar? Tim looked at her sheepishly. Me. I gotta start a 3-day shift at the fire station tonight. Brenda turned toward me as she started filling pitchers with beer. Megan, my only girl called in sick. I am short a server tonight. She pointed to the group of guys in suits at the corner table. Can you take care of them? In the past, both Alex and I had helped out when needed. Brenda and I had been servers to help get cash while we were in school, so it was no big deal. Sure, I said. The table with the suits was a noisy bunch. All the guys had their ties loosened, and some of their jackets were thrown over the chair backs. A big man with the look of an ex-jock seemed to be holding court. Hi guys, I said, plastering a smile on my face. What can I get you? I endured the typical your phone number, a look at your tits, comments that every female waitress dealing with drunken men has had to endure since taverns started serving booze. I had long ago as a server been immune to such frat boy remarks, and mentally filtered them out to the point I did not even really hear the crude commentary. The ex-jock stood up. It must have been my day for big men because this guy was well over 6 foot. He motioned to the table. Sorry, You'll have to excuse my compatriots. We are celebrating my big promotion. He handed me a business card so new it shined. Below the name in gold flake was a bold title, Southern Hemisphere Interoffice Technology Head VP. Wow, I said, trying to hand the card back to him. That is impressive. He waved away the card. Keep it. I'm buying. So let's have another round. But only if you have a drink with us too. I tried to demur, but the group at the table started a verbal campaign that picked up volume to the point I agreed to have a drink with them just to keep them quiet. Brenda was busy refilling pitchers with beer as I was pouring my table's drink order. She spied the business card I placed on the bar top. Whose is that? Brenda asked, pointing with her chin at the shiny new business card. I gestured at the corner table. The cute big guy at that table. I think he is a new executive. Looks like he has money too. Brenda wiped foam off the rim of a picture. Great, Megan. You know what Grandma used to say about money buying happiness? I rolled my eyes. They say money doesn't buy happiness, but I would love to be crying in my new Ferrari. Brenda picked up the business card and started laughing after reading it. What is so funny? I asked. Brenda shook her head, reading the business card out loud. Southern Hemisphere Interoffice Technology Head VP, don't you get it? Look at the first letters, SHIT head. Your big-time exec is a shithead. I grabbed the card back from her, looking it over again. After a moment I said, so it's not the most elegant title. He still looks like a big shot executive. Brenda was unimpressed. Big shots are just little shots who keep on firing. Mind your manners. I laughed her off, but Brenda put her hand on my arm. Don't be acting like Curious George on Red Bull and do something stupid with shithead over there. Shaking off Brenda's grip, I replied. I won't. This just a bit of a payback for Alex about Linda. I'm just going to have a few drinks with them to keep them under control. A free drink is a free drink. You know the best things in life are free. Brenda would not quit. Megan, the best things in life are free. The second best things are very expensive. In my defense, I was so drunk I cannot recall a lot of the early events. I do not remember leaving the bar or making it to my house and up the flight of stairs to my bedroom. There are some hazy memories of punching in the alarm code and screwing shithead in my bed. He tried to do me again, but I was not in mood. He was no better. No, I yelled, wriggling away from shithead, almost falling off the bed. Barely outlined in the darkness, he pawed at me. You ain't gonna leave me with blue balls, are you? My head now started pounding as the inevitable hangover began, with guilt over my actions starting to creep in. I put my hand on his chest. Look, I think you better leave. I can't have you staying the night. Shithead said, you don't want to make me breakfast? I really did not need this now as my headache got worse. Very funny, but seriously, I need you to get out. How about one for the road? Fine, I replied. I'll give you a going away BJ, but then you must leave. As shithead got off the bed, heading to the bathroom door, I peeked at the dresser clock, whose red LEDs displayed 3:18 a.m. The last thing I wanted to do right now was screw that idiot, although admittedly I was willing to do anything to get him out of the house. The water shut off in the bathroom, then the crack of light under the door went away. Meanwhile, the skulking hangover was competing with guilt as reality started to set in. Just as the bathroom door swung open and I could make out shithead's naked silhouette, simultaneously the bedroom door opened and I saw the outline of a figure holding something in his hands, creeping past the threshold. I screamed and the intruder froze. Shithead leaped from the bathroom doorway, grabbing a table lamp off the dresser and slammed the lamp into the back of the intruder's head. The intruder crumpled to the floor. I stopped screaming and turned on the bedside light. Fumbling with the tabletop phone, I punched in 911. Send police. A robber is in my house. I yelled frantically as the 911 operator started her spiel. I glanced over at shithead, who was tying the intruder's hands behind his back with the lamp cord. Then suddenly my blood went cold. There were roses scattered around the floor where they had dropped from the intruder's hand. Next to his hands were a pair of work boots the guy must have been carrying when he was struck. The boots were Alex's well-worn work boots. Shithead was finishing off a knot on the bound hands while muttering, "Stupid a hole burglar. Think you can sneak up on me? You got another thing coming." I dropped the phone when shithead grabbed a tuft of the intruder's hair and lifted the head off the floor. Now my blood froze as Alex's bloody face stared out at me. His eyes were closed, but a soft moan escaped his lips. I leaped off the bed to the side of my prone spouse. Get away from him. That is my husband. Shithead got a confused look on his face as he released Alex's hair. Alex's face hit the floor with a hollow thunk. Your husband? What the hell? He never finished his sentence because a low growl emitted from the gloom beyond the bedroom door. Two yellow eyes glowered at us for a second before a black blur shot out of the darkness and attached itself onto shithead's face. Shithead's screams mixed with a loud snarl as Brian the cat bit and dug his claws into Shithead's head. The two twirled around as Shithead sprang upright, trying to pull Brian the cat off. Slamming into the window, Shithead finally pried the big black cat away from his scratched, bleeding face. Brian the cat dodged a vicious kick, retreating swiftly under the bed. Shithead was holding his face and cursing as I knelt down, moving in to cradle Alex's head in my hands. Suddenly pain, more severe than I had ever experienced, erupted on my left butt cheek. It felt like I was being stabbed with a dozen knives. Letting out a yell, I jumped up and tried swatting away at the source of my agony. Brian the cat had latched onto my buttocks and would not let go as I spun around like some whirling dervish, all the while screaming in pain. After what seemed like forever, I stumbled into Shithead, who was still holding his bleeding face and cussing a blue streak. Brian the cat finally separated himself from me, again retreating back under the bed. Trying to ignore the blood streaming down my leg, I jumped around attempting to return back to Alex, but somehow, I ended up stomping on Shithead's foot. "You stupid bitch," Shithead roared, pulling his arm away from his face to deliver a stinging backhand to the side of my head. The force of his blow flung me onto the bed. "I am going to kick your butt," he thundered. My ears were still ringing as Shithead, with his arm raised, took a step from the window toward me as I lay stunned on the bed. But before he could take another step, I saw Alex spring to his feet, hands still tied behind his back. Alex took a hop forward, then launched himself into some kind of tight, gravity-defying armless somersault. At the peak of his turn in midair, Alex seemed to uncoil. Both his feet struck Shithead on the chest and slammed Shithead hard back into the wall, where he became entangled in the window curtains. As soon as Alex hit the floor, he popped up and ran at Shithead, who was still entangled in the curtains. As Alex crashed his shoulder into Shithead's stomach, thumping him back into the wall, Alex turned his head to shout at me, "Run, Barb, run. Get out of here. Get help. I'll hold off this man." I was frozen in place, staring at Alex's blood-streaked face, his hair matted with blood, trying to pin Shithead in place with his much smaller body. Curtains ripped from the wall as Shithead raised a massive forearm, smashing it into the side of Alex's face. There was a sickening crack as Alex dropped to the ground. Shithead kicked at Alex, who grunted, rolling away from the blow. Shithead took a step forward and raised his leg, high to stomp on Alex, lying motionless on the floor. Just as Shithead's leg started its downward journey, the black blur burst out from under the bed and Brian the cat latched himself onto Shithead's gonads with a piercing snarl. Shithead's scream was so high he sounded like a woman. The scream continued as Shithead bent over and pounded at Brian the cat, trying to get the furious feline off his nether regions. Suddenly Alex shook his head and leapt off the floor, jamming his shoulder into the midsection of the bent-over Shithead. Alex let out a roar as Shithead was lifted up off the ground onto Alex's back in a fireman-type carry. His smaller legs churning away, Alex rammed the three of them full speed into the huge bedroom picture window. Alex roars, Shithead screams, and Brian the cat hisses were overshadowed by the noise of breaking glass. I sat transfixed on the bed, watching in horror when all of a sudden the three of them vanished from view. They just disappeared out the window into the inky dark night. Abruptly, all their sounds became muffled. Then, nothing. For a moment there was nothing but silence, punctuated by the sound of a single stray curtain flapping in the breeze out of the broken window, then a few tinkles as small pieces of shattered glass fell from the pane. Unexpectedly, a terrible, ear-splitting, heart-wrenching cry broke out that filled the room. It took a few minutes for my brain to recognize it was me, wailing at the top on my lungs. Everything in my mind was a haze, but slowly the mist lifted as if I was coming to the surface of a lake after being underwater. Opening my eyes, my vision focused on an Asian lady in blue hospital scrubs who was wiping a cool towel over my face. Staring back, the Asian female put down the towel and scurried away, muttering, "I go get doctor." Turning my head, I saw Brenda sitting in a chair by my bedside. Yet when I tried to sit up, I found my wrists and legs retrained to the bed with straps. God damn it. I spat at Brenda. "Get that Chinese nurse back here and let me loose." Brenda came up to my side. "Settle down, Megan. You have been out an entire day. They had to restrain you because you were combative. That aide, who I think is Vietnamese, want to get a doctor." I was still struggling. Chinese, Vietnamese, Chuck E. Cheese, who gives a shit? Get me loose now. I need to see Alex. Calm down, Megan. You're lucky I'm even here. Tim, the black guy from the gay softball league, he was one of the first responders on the scene the night of your event. Tim remembered you were a friend of mine. He let me know you were here and what happened. Brenda said the last part with silted eyes. My body deflated like a balloon at the recollection of that night. Shame washed over me, caused by Brenda's knowledge of what happened. She continued. They had to sedate you. The whole scene was not a pretty sight. Don't worry, Tim got some of his firefighter buddies using the truck ladders to patch that broken huge upper-story window at your house. Well, even though I got loose, I had to sign a ton of paperwork about going against medical advice, making a future appointment, forms that absolved the hospital, blah, blah, blah. I would have signed a confession to the JFK shooting if it got me to see Alex. However, when I got to see Alex through the window of ICU, it was ugly. He was buried in gauze with tubes and bags and machines all around or in him. My mind was numb as I tried to comprehend the anatomy list of terms a doctor was using to describe Alex's condition. I interrupted the doctor's medical monologue. Is Alex going to recover? The doctor hesitated, and I tightly gripped Brenda's arm, who was beside me. Finally, he spoke. I am confident he will survive, but I am afraid it is going to be a long, hard road. Several rounds of reconstructive surgery and quite a bit of rehab is going to be needed. Sadly, some of the best treatment is not covered by insurance. The processes needed for this patient's best chance at a broad recovery will be very, very expensive. I tried to convince myself that I always loved Alex. It just had taken a tragic event to bring that love to the surface. I was determined to show him that love now. I emptied my retirement account to fund his recovery, early withdrawal fee and tax penalties be damned. When out-of-network specialists were needed, I took a huge home equity loan out on the house, maxed out the credit cards, even traded in my Lexus in for cash and a beat-up used soccer mom van. I figured the van would make it easier to transport Alex around when he finished his treatment. I cannot believe how much I missed Alex. I guess it is true, you only miss the sun when it starts to snow, and the light when the candle burns low. As the weeks dragged on, I just wanted to die because I was already living in hell. Alex's mental recovery was slower than his physical recovery. Neurosurgeons told me his memory would come back in chunks, but they could not predict when or how much. I dreaded the thought he would remember that night. I spent hours with him going over old pictures of us, telling him stories, and wasted countless hours searching for Brian the cat who disappeared that night. Flyers, ads, even visits to animal shelters failed to turn up that black ball of fury. Several months had gone by, but the day I saw two men with law enforcement written all over them leaving the rehab center, my blood chilled. Up to this point, I had been able to keep persistent detectives away from Alex with a phalanx of doctor's orders and attorney's papers. Everything turned to shit when I was stopped at the reception desk of Alex Rehab Center. The two large security guards, who had always been kind to me, now had a different look in their eyes as they barred me from the hallway to Alex's room. Ma'am, we are going to have to ask you to leave the grounds immediately, one of the security men told me in a no-nonsense tone. We are also going to require you do not return until further notice, the other added. Your presence is upsetting one of our patients. I opened my mouth to speak, but they each began to hustle me out of building, into the parking lot, and to my car. The next day, a police car delivered an order of protection that prohibited my contact with Alex in any manner and required keeping a distance of over 100 yards from him. At first glance, I did not recognize Alex. I thought I was in the wrong location or come on the wrong day. My heart skipped a beat as I looked at my watch. Maybe I had come at the wrong time and was too late. It had been over a year since I had seen Alex, and my life had been going steadily downhill in every aspect, financially, professionally, socially, emotionally, and physically. He had rebuffed all my efforts at any type of communication up to now, so I was determined to make this meeting successful. I was led through the unfamiliar stately manor into a back area. I passed some furniture that I identified as pieces Alex had refurbished, but as I entered the porch, the man seated in front of me looked like a stranger. Alex was completely bald with a wicked scar around a quarter of his crown. His once dancing blue eyes that sparkled when he saw me were now cruel stones that barely flickered recognition. A dark mustache goatee combination gave Alex more of a resemblance to Walter White of Breaking Bad than my husband. The only way I knew it was Alex was because of the large black cat sitting in his lap that Alex was petting. For a moment, the image of this bald man petting a cat looked like a bad sci-fi movie with the evil villain going to blow up the world. I took a shallow breath before taking a big step toward the two of them with my arms wide. I hoped a familiar hug would start us off on a good note. Brian the cat sprung up on Alex's lap, his feline back arched high, hair on end, tail up, with a spitting snarl that spat through bared exposed fangs. Alex put his hand out with the palm toward me. Stop, Megan. There is only one woman here I have any interest in touching, and it isn't you. I froze, The words coming out of the man in Alex's body was not the silky smooth tone that was the envy of every karaoke night. This voice was a raspy, hoarse guttural sound, more suited to Marlon Brando in his Godfather movie role. Regaining my composure, I sat on a chair opposite Alex, with a small, low table between us that contained several scattered folders. Pointing at Brian the cat, who was still growling lowly, not taking his eyes off me, I said, "Wow, Alex, where did you find Brian?" I had been searching all over for him. I have not seen Brian since, well. Alex kept his hard eyes on me and sat silent in a pause that was more than uncomfortable for me. Finally, he spoke. "Well, Megan, Linda brought Brian to me. She found him injured and rushed Brian to an emergency vet clinic. Seems Brian also spent some expensive time in the hospital." "That bitch," I muttered under my breath, then fixing a smile on my face, I said louder, "I mean, that was wonderful of Linda. We will have to find some way to pay her back." Alex petted Brian some more. "Yeah, Megan, you are all about the payback, aren't you?" I tried to fight the tears welling in my eyes. "Alex, I know I have made some bad decisions." Alex interrupted me with a short laugh. "Bad decisions? Bad decisions make good stories, but shitty marriages." I tried to ignore his jab. I just started seeing myself as more. I thought I was better than I was. I thought I was special. Without ever actually saying it that way to myself, I thought I was smarter and more deserving than any of the people around me. I know better now. I awaited Alex's reaction. Seconds seemed to tick away like hours before he spoke. "Beware of false knowledge. It is more dangerous than ignorance." "Why are you here?" "I am here, Alex, to say I am sorry. To show you I know how you feel." He let out another guttural laugh. "Know how I feel? I will always walk with a limp, plus be plagued with constant headaches, and my balance will never be the same. Tell you what, Megan, go have someone twice your size brain you with a lamp, crush most of your skull, and then fall out a window from 30 feet. Maybe then we'll talk. Oh, wait. Also make sure to get stabbed in the back and betrayed by the one you cared for and trusted the most. I think finally figuring out you never loved me was worse than rehab." "Alex, that is not true." Alex smirked. "The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you." I did not know how to respond. I don't know what to say, Alex." Alex leaned back as Brian the cat jumped off his lap. "Come on, Megan. The truth is easy. Maintaining a web of lies is hard. Or are you going to pull Homer Simpson logic on me with his, 'It takes two to lie, one to lie, and one to listen' spiel?" Now I was starting to get mad. "I am not some idiot, Alex. I can see the light." He chuckled. "We all know that light travels faster than sound. That's why certain people appear bright until you hear them speak. I think you rightly fit into that category." I tried to calm down. "Did you really feel the need to go after Brenda? After your complaints to the state board, they pulled Brenda's liquor license. She lost the bar." Alex interlaced his fingers. "Yes, it seems the Alcohol Commission takes its dram laws seriously and does not care for non-employees serving liquor. Brenda sent you to that shithead's table. I see no reason Brenda should not reap some of what she sowed. It wasn't her fault, Alex. The bar was swamped that night. Brenda was too busy to keep track of my stupidity." He bored at me with his eyes. "Brenda was not the only one getting busy that night. Was she, Megan?" I was almost in tears. "Brenda was my longest best friend. Now she will not even speak to me, and she was your friend too." I rubbed my eye. "The injury did something to you, and it's all my fault. You were always such a nice guy, Alex. Why did you feel that you had to burn Brenda?" Alex hunched forward. "Burn Brenda? I guess I am just an asshole now, because you know what they say about where nice guys finish. Never ever mistake niceness for weakness again." He leaned back. "So, Megan, if you can't fly with the big girls, get off the broom." This was like a nightmare. "You couldn't just take it out on me, could you, Alex? Has there not been enough pain and suffering?" The DA did not press any charges. Their investigation just chalked it up to one big mess. He pointed to a folder on the table with the state seal on it. "Lies written in ink cannot disguise facts written in blood." "Blood? Is that what you after, Alex? My blood? You know we lost the shithead civil suit when your brief supported his case." Alex just stared at me. "I think shithead never walking again and shitting in a bag for the rest of his life deserves something more than the memory of having sex with you. That a-hole should be happy he is still alive." "Megan," Alex said, looking at me, "many people are alive, only because it is illegal to shoot them." I ignored that remark. "I am going to lose the house. They already started garnishing my wages. All our bank accounts are frozen. We have no money." Alex seemed amused. "Yes, you have no money." It was a statement, not a question. He gestured around the grounds. "I'm just a poor whittler, trading my labor for meager room and board." This was not going at all how I wanted this meet to go. I took a deep breath. I can say I am sorry a million times, but I see now you are not ready to hear it. Just please, let's keep the lines of communication open. We'll cross the bridges as we come to them. Alex pulled out a document from the pile on the table and tossed it at me. Those are divorce papers. Sometimes you have to burn a few bridges to keep the crazies from following you. My life continued circling the drain for the next 16 months. I lost my job due to performance problems. It seems all my time was taken up with my new hobby of drinking, thus leaving little time for work when I did show up. Going to my job seemed pointless with shithead garnishing a large chunk of my wages and endless hours trying to keep the creditors at bay for the rest of my paycheck. There were bright spots, such as my job's insurance coverage lasting long enough to complete treatment for the STD I picked up during one of my blackouts. Today was the newest low point. I was waiting outside what was once my national registry home for a bank representative to come finalize the foreclosure. I had been promised $1,500 in cash if I kept my old house in good condition to be handed over to the next owner. That $1,500, along with everything I had not sold or pawned, was in my dented minivan. I hoped the money would last long enough, along with my 4 almost bald tires, so I could make it to my new job. An elderly aunt ran a combo and slash tavern way up north near the mining camps. I was gonna be with the Hicks and the Sticks. Not a dream job, but it provided a place to stay at a price I could afford. So naturally, in my time of despair, who do I see coming toward me? The person who started this entire chain of events. That bitch Linda. The fat cow was walking her ankle-biter dog, a cigarette hanging from her lips. I silently prayed Linda would cross the street, but it was not to be as she walked right up to me. You bailing out? Linda asked, blowing a lungful of smoke past me. Yes, Linda. I am going to help an old aunt out up north. You know the old if one door shuts, another one opens thing. Megan, when this one door closes, you best get a hammer and some nails, keep the bitch closed. I beg your pardon? I said, watching Linda's little dog lift his leg to urinate on the front tire on my minivan. Linda took another drag off her cigarette. You are like some deranged Rapunzel in that fairy tale. Except you spin gold into straw. You are the only human being who managed to make Alex, one of the nicest men to ever shit between 2 legs, into a complete prick. Maybe he is just a prick to you, Linda. I countered. What do you care? You already threw him away. How is it any of your concern? Linda lit another cigarette off the one she was smoking. You gotta be the dumbest woman on this earth. I cut Alex loose because he was too nice a guy to leave me on his own. I knew he deserved better than me. We only got together after a drunken hookup. I am not stupid like you. I knew Alex just stayed with me so I would not look like some total 304. I was not in the mood to argue with Linda. Look, if I could go back in time and change everything, I would. Linda bent over to pet her dog. Nah, you'd suffer a time travel injury, like stupidity. I pointed at the garish cross hanging from Linda's neck. I thought you were a Christian. What happened to love thy neighbor? Jesus may love you, but you are still an a-hole. She snapped back. I waved my hand at Linda as her and the dog turned to leave. Well, thank God I will have seen the last of you. Linda never looked back, but I heard her comment, never think you have seen the last of anything. My head was pounding and I was dying for a drink, when finally a BMW pulled up and out popped a well-dressed lady in her early 30s. She had the I am in real estate because my husband makes a lot of money and I am bored while the nanny takes care of the kids. Look about her. You must be Megan. Sorry I am late. Things have just been crazy. This is my 3rd foreclosure today, and I have 2 more to go to. I have never seen it like this. Her happy tone just grated on my nerves. Oh my, how tough for you. I bet you missed the days when bank robbery meant people robbed banks, not banks stealing people's homes. The realtor looked confused as she pulled out a sheet of papers, an envelope out of her designer bag. I have your money right here, just as agreed upon. That should bring a smile to your face. Oh yes, trading my great-grandfather's home that has been in my family for generations in return for less than a month's salary makes me want to dance the jig and break out in a song. She tried to become unflustered. Well, the house will be in good hands. A bunch of wealthy old guys formed a trust and bought it up. They have agreed to keep it in the original condition. As soon as their caretaker gets here, we can do a tour to confirm everything and get you signed off and on your way. Just then a loud rumble preceded a large motorcycle that stopped behind the BMW. The rider was your stereotypical biker, covered in tattoos with a leather vest, gloves, and dark riding sunglasses. A Harley-Davidson headscarf was in place of a helmet. As he dismounted, you could see the guy was not tall but extremely muscular, built like a solid fire plug. My heart sank as the biker turned around to a crate on the back of the motorcycle. A big black cat escaped the box, jumped out and stretched itself out on the sidewalk. The presence of Brian, the cat, confirmed the biker was Alex. He walked toward us with a pronounced limp, pausing to raise his sunglasses and light a big cigar clamped between his lips. Alex strode up to the realtor, ignoring me completely. "Let's get this bitch done." The realtor waved her hand in an exaggerated gesture of dispersing Alex's cigar smoke. "I would appreciate it if you would not smoke in my presence." Alex paused to remove the cigar from his mouth, but made no move to extinguish the burning ember and addressed the relator. "Listen hard, you future first wife. I am not here for your appreciation." She looked taken aback. I do not think she was used to being spoken like that at her country club. The relator attempted a different tack, pointing at Alex's cigar. "Do you know how unhealthy those things are?" Alex looked at his cigar. "This? My grandfather lived to 95 years old. Smoking cigars?" the relator asked with a quizzical look on her face. "No," Alex replied, putting the cigar back in his mouth. "He lived to 95 years old by minding his own goddamn business." The relator pulled the designer handbag tight to her chest as Alex took a step closer to her before speaking. "Looks like it's true. The only difference between porcupines and BMWs is that with porcupines the pricks are on the outside." He gestured toward the house. "You are here to collect your commission." Alex pointed at me. "I'm sure that someplace a fleet is pulling into port. The cheating bitch here needs to service. You can join her for all I care. But first, before you send her on her way, get the keys from this stupid woman." Finally, I spoke up. "Alex, I am asking you not to insult me." Alex's harsh eyes turned on me. "Oh, did I make you feel bad by calling you stupid?" "I am sorry, I thought you knew." The relator must have suddenly figured out we knew each other and tried to defuse the encounter with a forced laugh. "Oh well, you know everything happens for a reason." Alex never took his eyes off me as he said, "Megan, your reason is you are stupid and do stupid shit. But look at it this way, jellyfish have no brain and have lived for 150 million years, so there is hope for you. I wanted to crawl into a hole. Let's get this done, so I can get my money and get out of here. Then you can be happy." Alex waved his cigar at me. "Yes, seeing you so fills me with joy. I better sit on my hands to keep from clapping in glee." He turned to the relator. "Give that 304 the envelope before she starts flagging down cars and turning tricks. I am sure the only room in the house that woman damaged was the bedroom from overuse." The relator looked unsure, but Alex snatched the envelope out of her hands and pushed it into my palm. I saw it was full of $100 bills. Alex smirked. "I know you are not familiar getting money when you are not in the horizontal position, but don't worry, you will be on your back, legs in the air, or on your knees in no time." I so wanted to throw the money in his face, but practicality overrode pride. Turning on my heel, I walked to my battered ride and drove, wiping tears away that blurred the cracked rear-view mirror image of Alex standing holding Brian the cat in front of what was once my home. I remember another of Brenda's old grandmother sayings: "If you ever want to feel rich, you should just count all the things you have that money can't buy." Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.